Thank you so much for staying with us. Well, up next, we're up for some learning about tips on concerning hair extensions and accessories. I've been joined in the studio by an entrepreneur in that regard. Let's meet and greet my guest, Miss Eddie Diong Anete. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ma. Thank you very much for having me.
Compliments of the season.
Same to you.
Now you deal with all kinds of hair extension. The prices, would you say they are unduly too high this season compared to is a festive season? So would you say the prices changed and are slightly higher this period compared to other times of the year?
Okay, for me, I don't necessarily think that it's just the festive season that has affected the
Pricing.
prices. Since the bulk of these hairs that we use are not produced in Nigeria, the major the major determinant of price is going to be the exchange rate. So whatever exchange rate we have, as in from naira to dollar, dollar to naira, that's what will affect the price when it finally gets to Nigeria. So yes, festive season, I don't know, for some reason people like making things expensive, but for hair, unless you don't want people to buy and you want to hike your prices unnecessarily, just after you do the exchange and you just do a little bit of your profit, I feel that's the only determinant for price of hair this period for me, for my business.
How do you source your products?
How I source my product? Okay, first of all, the first thing I did when I was starting was I met people that are already in the business, and then some of them were able to put me through genuinely. People introduced me to their contacts to help me get those hairs, as I would say big aunties helping a small child trying to start life. So all older ladies in the business were the ones that helped me to get those contacts.
Okay, so the new year is approaching, and there
Yes.
seems to be like a high demand for hair extensions and accessories. Why do you think this is so? Does it have anything to do with the end of the year and the approaching new year?
Yes, end of the year, people want to go back home. And as much as a lot of people don't necessarily invest in their looks throughout the year, they are going back home. They don't want you to think, oh, this child has been suffering where she is doing her business, doing her work. So let me look good as I'm going back. Let the world not know that, okay, maybe I'm just packaging, maybe I'm just, people just want to look good when they go home. So that, especially for someone like me. So my mom does not tell me, don't travel again, stay back. So if I'm going back home, I'm going to do my best to look better than I normally look on the average day. So my mom won't tell me not to come.
You shouldn't think you're looking
So that she
underfed and
won't
all
think I'm
that.
suffering.
Tell me about the types of hair that you make available for your customers.
Okay. Since I am young, the bulk of my customers are around my age.
Okay.
And so we majorly go for what we all can afford. So we do the synthetics, the hair blends, and the low grade human hairs. The people that want luxury hairs, they will always reach out, and then I refer them to someone I know has it, or the people that actually want to patronize me, I can always tell them if they will be patient enough for me
For you to order.
to order it. And then most of them are patient. While the rest, I do referrals so that they can get their hairs at the time that they need it.
Speaking of being young and in business, what motivated you to start this line of business?
Somebody scammed me on Instagram.
Oh,
I was scammed on Instagram, and it was
in the
very,
process of trying to buy stuff.
yes, trying to buy stuff online. And it was like, I already have knowledge of this thing where my dad paid for me to learn different skills. So I can do hair, I can bake, I can also paid for me to do all this writing, playing instruments, just so that if you don't get a job, you have something. So
Sources.
sources of income. So it was like, you are scamming me for something I can't do. This is very annoying. So I started asking questions, I started saving money, and then I asked my sister, and my sister introduced me to I would say a vendor, but she's more like a wholesaler. So the small money that I had at the time, I just used 50,000 to start, and I was able to buy all the low grade hairs in bulk. And as I ordered it, I showed my mom. She was very excited. She prayed over it, and that's how I started.
Interesting. What would you say makes you unique to your customers and the type of services that you render?
Okay, so far everything my customers they like saying your packaging is very neat. Your packaging is very neat. Because
And finishing is everything.
finishing, one time I bought hair from somewhere. The way they packaged the hair started spoiling inside the bag. So I was like, as I'm starting my business, I'll make sure my packaging is neat so that however I post, since I don't have a working store, I'm just taking videos and pictures and posting. So however it looks in the phone is how it will look when it comes to
Comes to
you,
the
so that
customer.
I don't want anybody to beat me. I don't want anybody to beat me. So I make sure the packaging is neat. And while we package, I will open it and check, is the hair changing inside the bag? Is there something I'm doing that is not right? And once I make sure that the packaging is perfect, I send it to them. I'm like, your packaging is so neat. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you.
You spoke about scam, and it's very important, and you also said that you gave me a class of hairs that you deal with. You actually be truthful enough to tell them this is a hair blend,
Yes,
this is a semi
yes,
human hair and
yes.
everything. What you pay for is what you
It's
get. You
what you
don't go
get.
scamming them and saying, I'll give you 100%. And then when they send you the money, you
And
give them 50% or even
50% or
40.
40.
Tell me about some vendors who do this. What do you feel?
I feel it's is a sign that you're not a good person. Anybody that scams somebody, even if it's small, you're not a good person. Fundamentally, there's something wrong with your
Fundamentally,
morals. Fundamentally, there's something wrong with your morals because you're not dashing anybody money to patronize you. You don't know if this person is saving to get this thing. And in fact, even if the person has all the money in the world to patronize you, it's a horrible thing to do to scam people. If you can't deliver, tell them you can't deliver. In fact, that will even make them patronize you in the future because they know that you can be trusted. Scamming people, then what's the difference between you and the Yahoo boys in quotes that we insult every day on Facebook and Twitter? If you're scamming someone in business, you're a horrible person and you deserve all the insults that people will give you when they find out that you're a scammer.
and someone said she bought something that was supposed to be a human hair, and in 2 days' time, it turned into a sponge.
Turn into a sponge. That's wickedness. That's wickedness. Why are you scamming people? If it's sponge, tell them it's sponge. If it's another thing too, when I sell human hairs, sorry, hair blends, there are serums to use to treat those hairs. So I always add the tiny ones as gifts. So when you
Oh,
go with
okay.
your serum, you can take it to the market and buy the big size. But you use that, apply it to your hair, and your hair will last for you for a long time until you can afford the expensive hair or
I
anything once you
really
do.
love this, keeping your budget within your own very means. Tell me about some challenges that you face in this line of business.
Okay. I think one of the major challenges I faced, I started business last year, was people coming to buy, and while they are trying to buy, they are discouraging other people from buying. You just paid for hair. I told you it's hair blend. So why are you now telling another person not to buy? Didn't you just buy it? What's happening? And then someone will tell me, so this person said I should not buy, but I'm seeing that your work is neat, so I will still buy. I'm like, this person told you not to buy, but she just bought. What's happening? And I feel like if you don't like something, it's fine. But going around to spoil another person's business is where it's unfair, because now that you have removed food from my mouth, are you going to feed me? Are you going to pay my bills? That's like one of the issues I had. And then another issue I had was with bank. I didn't want money to,
Transfers.
yes, I didn't want money to enter my personal account. So after registering my business, I successfully registered it.
That's
I now,
interesting.
thank you, successfully registered. I went to the bank. The process of creating the corporate account took so long, and a lot of people don't really have that trust sending something for money for business to someone's personal account, especially someone that hasn't met you before. This person is just on Instagram. How does the person trust that you will not disappear with their money when it's not even a corporate or a business account? They are
Account
seeing your
that
personal
you can
account
hold
there.
liable.
There's that kind of thing. So waiting for my corporate account
Still through.
to scale through, I kind of had those issues. So I had to tell them, I'm not running with your money. So every time I'll have to be reassuring customers, like, I'm here, oh, don't worry, your hair is coming, please just be patient, that kind of thing.
How do you handle bookkeeping, keeping records, and making sure that you keep up with with your monitoring your profits and all of that?
Okay. I I used to be very close to my dad, and my dad is very meticulous. He writes down everything. So just used to copy him right from when I was small. Not even anything necessary. If anybody gives me money, I'm recording it. Even though I'm going to use it to buy sweets, I'm still recording.
Recording what
And
you're using it
so
for.
I grew up with that mentality. And then as I was starting business, I did a customized book for stock. I did a customized book for orders, so that so it's not just on phone now. I'm seeing it on paper. This person ordered this, so 5 pieces, 4 pieces, and then also I'm now writing it. Has the person paid completely? Has the person paid instrumentally? Because I don't know how to ask people, like, you've not paid me, or you've not done this. I don't know how to ask. So as I'm writing it down, I now have evidence. So I know that I'm not being careless. I know that I'm not being wasteful with resources. If my money hasn't come back to me, it's because this person or that person is owing me, and not because I'm being careless about anything.
That's interesting. Now, as someone who handles a lot of people, public, customers, how do you handle customer care and each customer's concerns, particularly to make sure that you satisfy each customer's need personally?
Okay, personally. So I handle my social. It's just me. Yeah, I'm a one-woman
It's a
business for
one-woman
now.
business.
For now, so I take my time. I take my time. I make sure that I am always communicating with the clients, because communication is key. Communication is important. If even one thing is lost while communicating, you can mix up someone's order. So I'm always asking, Ma, is this what you asked for? Is this what you wanted? And we go back and forth until I am sure that I get you clearly, and until I'm sure that you are satisfied with what we are doing. We will keep communicating until you even get your hair. Have you opened it? Did you like it? I'm waiting for you. So just so that we don't have any issues, we don't have any mix-ups, we don't have any hitches. I will always ask every step of the way. I'm always asking them questions.
Let me digress a little bit.
Okay.
From your training growing up and all the skills that you acquired, you're multi-skilled, you're multi-talented, you play instruments, and you're versed in so many different things. I can say that you now represent, a true meaning of being youthful and very useful. How
Thank
has
you.
it equipped you? How has it turned you into the kind of young woman that you are today?
Okay. This first of all, I'm very shy. Very shy.
I think I noticed.
I'm very shy. So, um, but if my mom hears, she won't believe. A lot of family members don't believe that I'm shy. And it's because I know you, you know me. So it's easy for me to be relaxed around you. But these trainings, as you're going there, you're not necessarily going to see your family members there. And you will have to interact, you have to network. And doing that in an environment that, yes, I'm coming from Calabar. You're networking in Calabar, you're meeting people that are coming from different states. It's helping you diversify your knowledge, know how to interact with people from different backgrounds, different religions. Because now that I'm in Abuja, if I hadn't gone for those trainings and met different people, it would have been difficult for me to start, because I'm practically starting my business afresh in a different location. If I hadn't taken those training seriously, it would have been difficult for me now to be able to continue business. In fact, I wouldn't have even agreed to relocate. But
Nice one. Do you have any special offer? Very quickly. Do you have any
special
special offer for the season, festive season?
special offer. Okay, so this period I'm majorly doing revamping and ventilation of closures. I don't really like ventilating frontals because it's really tasking. But if you have your closures to ventilate, we'll slash down the price at 30% off, 30% off, so that as you're ventilating your closure at an affordable price, I too can eat for Christmas.
That's interesting. Finally, wish somebody a very Merry Christmas. Someone special.
I would say my mommy
Oh.
because I haven't seen her in a while and I won't necessarily see her till next year. So Merry Christmas, mommy.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And we wish you very well. I see you growing into a very big entrepreneur. Your focus, and I know it would happen for you.
Amen.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
very
coming on the
much.
show.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and yours. Well, it's still Good Morning Abuja. Stay with us. After the break, we have a whole lot more in store for you. It's still Good Morning Abuja, and this is the last Friday before the new year. Well, we're excited still. And you know, it's still festivities and a lot of events planning go on at this time of the year. So, right now, with me in the studio, I've got an event planner who will tell us all about event planning for the festive period. Let's meet and greet Mr. Miracle Ejianya.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, welcome to the
Thank you
show.
very much.
All right, tell us, as an event planner, particularly for this time of the year, what are some of the things that you would put into considerations planning an
Okay.
event for the season?
Planning an event for the season, first of all, you should have a checklist of what your event is going to be like, starting from the theme of your event to the guest list to the venue and the the numbers of vendors you'll be working with, because you have to put in some things into consideration to have a successful event this festive season. Because right now there are lots of events going up currently in Abuja. From now till the end of the year, there are events every single day. So having a successful event at this festive season now, you need to consider to be sure that then there's no other person you're clashing with. If you, let's say, if you're having, it depends on the type of event you're having. Most people want to have events to have less crowd, less guests. Some people want to have more crowd, more guests. So it depends on what you are working, what you want to achieve at your event. So basically, what you should consider mostly is the date, the time, the date and the time, and also you should consider if your event is going to be, you should consider if your event is going to be in the town of Abuja. Most events is always in Wuse, Central Area District and other places. But when you're having, let's say, little family event, you can do that in your house or somewhere else. So to reduce the cost of what you'll be doing. That's basically the things you should consider to have a successful event.
Considering that the festivities start proper November, December, at what point, when are you supposed to actually begin your planning?
And timing is everything. About events, timing is everything. You have to work with a lot of things. For example, you should consider, you should plan ahead. Plan ahead.
Absolutely.
You should plan ahead and get everything ready before that date. And make sure you have some meetings with your vendors you're working with. You should, if you're working with different vendors, you book them ahead and make sure you have a vendors meeting. Make sure everybody is on board on what is going to what the people are expecting during the event. So that's what it is.
All right, the festivities are always laced with so many different
Yes.
events, and sometimes you can have multiple clients the same weekend. If that happens, how do you ensure optimal success and at the same time make sure that you satisfy every client?
Okay. Basically, let me use myself as an example here. I started as a waiter in the event industry.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so Working as a waiter, I had to work under pressure, work under some bosses. You need to learn to work under pressure, know how to listen, pay attention to detail. You need to know what hospitality is all about. So, with the little experiences I've had, I can say, let's say, I can with the little experiences I've had, I can say you should just make sure everything is in line. You get make sure everything is in line, starting from starting from the theme of your event. Get starting from the theme of your event. If it's
A
an
mask party?
max, yes, if it's max party, everything should be in line with the max party, starting from the lights, the color of the event, the flowers you use to decorate your event, and always make sure you're working hands in hands with the decorator. Because as a planner and you're not working with the decorator, you might give the decorator, this is what you do for me, and you come and say different thing.
Let me digress a little. For how long were you a waiter, and at what point did you convince yourself that you're ready to break out and actually be an event manager?
Okay, I worked as a waiter for 3 years
Okay.
with different vendors here in Abuja, and then I was elevated. So let's say I said then I got into event coordinating. So after doing some event coordination, I had to start up a company. I had this feeling that yes, I have what it takes to do this now. So I had to start up a company myself, Tafari Magic Trends.
Wow.
Yes, I had to
Interesting.
start a company myself to build myself. So that's how I started.
How do you leverage technology and social media to enhance what you do?
Okay, let's say I'm an AI chief
Oh,
officer.
wow.
Yes, I did an AI course, so I work with AI anytime. If I'm planning an event now, I work with AI to make sure that everything is in good, as in to make everything seamless.
Wow.
Yes. And also, there are some my teammates. You work with other people. You can't just do everything on your own. You have to work with people. I have vendors. There are vendors, drink vendors, caterers, the security protocols, the ushering vendors, the waiting like you work with different people to have a successful event. And to have that, you have to have some coordinators. As a planner, you can't do everything on your own. You have to have event coordinators that work with the planner. So the coordinators work with the vendors. You can't be everywhere at once. It will make the event rowdy and it won't be that professional.
Outside the AI, the event management industry is vast. You
Yes.
know, is dynamic.
It's
New
very,
trends are coming
yes.
up every day. How do you
Yes.
stay updated, creative wise?
Staying updated creative wise, they have training courses for event planners. Like they did one 2 months ago. They have training courses for event planners, and sometimes it's what the client wants. There are some clients they'll just vision something on their head and they want you to bring it to reality. They might just tell you this is what I want, this is what I want. Okay, let's say someone might say I want an open event in a garden with a forestry looking like a wild forest something
Look,
look. So you have to get somewhere that has everything that you can give the client what he or she wants.
speaking of that, I was just going to ask you, there are different clients with different taste boards and everything.
Yes.
How do you pay attention to each client and make sure you satisfy them
You when having a
and keep
vendors
them
meeting,
coming back?
yes, when having a vendors meeting, you when having a vendors meeting, your client should be there to tell
Okay.
everybody this is what I want. And you keep in touch with your vendors, make sure everything is going in line. And also, if the client wants to change something or wants something else, you keep in touch with your clients. Communication is very, very important. You keep communication with your clients, and also social media. You post highlights of your jobs or your events on social media, create content. Those moments you have clips of them, post on social media to advertise your brand and make people know that this is what you can do, this is what you do. this is what you can bring to life to let them know that yes, you're good at what you do.
Hmm. I have a knowledge of events planning a little bit myself, and I know about customer care and how difficult some customers can be. How do you handle customer service? You do
About
it personally?
customer, I don't do it personally, but as an event, as a planner, you need to be there at your event, except when you have various different types of events on a particular day. You just need to make sure you visit each venue.
Each.
But when you have an event, you should make sure everything is going well. As an event planner, you should be there. Let's say there are some customers you can that can be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Some can be rude. You should learn to be calm
At all
at
times.
all time. Like learn to be calm at all times, even in the face of pressure. You need to be calm because you can't make rash decisions at that time.
You will tell me more about pressure. That will be after the break. If you stay with us, there's a whole lot more to learn from this discussion. All right, welcome back. We're still here with Miracle Ejianya discussing event planning and management for the festive season. You were talking to me about pressure. I can imagine all about it, especially in a wedding. The bride is agitated, the groom is agitated on the other hand, and everything seems like it's falling apart. How do you keep up a strong presence in the face of pressure?
Mm, let's see about that. I'll use an example.
Okay.
There was an event I planned in Kaduna. That was this year, September. So we got to the hotel. The decorator has not finished, and the wedding was for 10 a.m. the next day. So I was like, with the time we have, we can't finish this, and we don't even have time. I had to make sure I sleep there. I sleep at the venue with the decorators, put the pressure on them that they can do this, they should do this thing and make it fast. You get, and also sometimes some clients put this, the pressure is not always from the clients themselves, it comes from the guests. Some guests might just they can be hungry and they'll be signaling to to the person who invited them,
Host.
the host, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I've not eaten. So when the person that pays you for a job comes to you, he can shout at you and you'll be like, oh, if you don't control that pressure, if you don't take it in with a calm mind, you might transfer it wrongly to somebody else. Maybe another guest might just ask you a simple question just when you are finishing with the client and you flail.
Talk back at them.
And that's not good for business. You need to learn to be calm at all times. So at that time, after we made sure everything has been set for the event in Kaduna, in the morning the venue got locked. Why that? They had some issues with the client about payment. I had to pay myself to make sure that the wedding went seamlessly. So you just need to be proactive. Let me use the word proactive. Know the
And
best
of
thing
course,
to
you're going
do.
to get the
Yes,
reimbursement from
yes,
your
yes.
client. Okay, that was a really nice way to handle it. And of course, your client is going to definitely reimburse you.
Yes.
Do you particularly use any software or tools to make sure that an event goes on seamlessly and there will be no hitches?
No, I don't use any particular software except where let's say, just draft everything in a spreadsheet and
Checklist.
checklist and print it out. That's just every other thing is creativity. You have to think it out yourself because the way this planner plans an event is not the way this planner plans an event. They have the only similarity there is just the flow of the event. Let's say if it's in a wedding now, you can't be having a toast before the opening prayer, or
Okay.
you can't be having a toast before the first dance. There's a flow of event. There's a way it should go. But in an official event, it's not the same thing. You can be planning an event for a ministry, let's say a conference now, and this is how they want them to go. This is how they want everything to go. And you meet another ministry that has a conference, and they want it's just different.
Let's talk about financing. We will not end this discussion without talking a bit of financing. What does it really take to engage the services of an events management company?
To like how much?
Yes, something. What's the range? Depending on the size
It's
of the
depending on the
event.
size. It depends on a lot of things.
Okay.
Depends on the size, the venue. You can still have a small event that's luxurious. It depends on what the clients want. So let's say if it's a simple, you can just have a simple, let's say a simple Muslim camp, just a simple Muslim wedding,
Okay.
a camp, or okay, let's say a child education,
Okay.
just it's a simple child education. Let's say with the venue fee and everything, we should be talking about 10 million naira.
Wow.
In the town of Abuja, let's say in a good venue, you're talking about depending on how long, because everything works with time. If you're renting a venue, they'll be asking you how long are you paying for and when is your event starting, and there are some other things you need to consider.
Mm.
So it depends on what the client wants. That's the financing depends on what you want. It's your money that determines what the planner plans for you. Yes.
Interesting. Finally, if a young person out there is watching and wants to toll your line of business, what is the basic advice that you give to them?
The basic advice I have to give to any young person like me there, it's you need to be humble, you need to be patient, and you need to be focused. It's not easy. The event industry is not something you will
It's not for the
just
faint-hearted.
know, because you need to be strong.
Okay.
You can have an event like, let's say for the past 2 weeks now, I've not had a good sleep.
Wow.
I've been either
It's been events back to back.
this. Even before coming here, I had like two vendors meeting before coming. So you need
Wow.
to be very agile. You need to know what you're doing. There's a lot of things that will distract you in the event industry. Talking as a waiter, a lot of things will distract you, but you should just know this is what you're going for. This is what you're doing. You should work towards what you're doing and don't allow anything to distract you.
So you get job satisfaction?
Yes, I have good. I've never had any event that the client came and said I started complaining. No, I always have good remarks.
All right, thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming on the
ma'am.
show. We wish you the very best
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
season and the
Thank you very
coming
much.
new year. Who would you like to wish a very special shout out
I will
for
wish
the
my shout out
season?
to my elder sister, Miss Jane, because she's done a lot for me.
Mm.
She has always been there for me. So I love you, sis.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and best wishes to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that's the size of it. Event planning can be rewarding, just like he told us. And it's something that if you're looking for a business opportunity for the coming year, you should really kind of consider it. Stay with us on Good Morning Abuja. We will take a short break and be right back.